Welcome, my name is Logan Hill, and I'm excited to show you how to become your own producer in 6 months or less so you can unlock creative freedom and build a song catalog without wasting thousands in studio costs. I believe you're going to get a ton of value out of this that you can take action on right away. Let's jump in. This video is for you if you're an independent artist in one of these genres: singer-songwriter, indie Christian/worship, folk, country, pop, or indie rock. You can't stand the idea of spending thousands on producers who won't be able to create the sound that you want. Maybe you've spent years going into studios and seeing no real traction, or you've had an interest in learning Logic Pro or Pro Tools. Maybe you've dabbled in GarageBand, but you feel lost on how to even get started. And you're tired of nothing changing and ready to go all in on your music. I'm going to show you my exact 6-step process that's helped independent artists just like you learn how to produce, mix, and master their own release-ready music. To start things off, I want to give you a preview of the progress that one of my clients has made. This first song is a song that she made in GarageBand before working with me. And the second song is one that she produced and mixed after working with me.
Feeling good, lazy Sunday. Praising God for all the robbing. I was made to live in your presence. Jesus, you're the point of my existence.
As you can hear, it's a pretty big difference learning how to produce and mix and master a song in an industry standard software like Pro Tools or Logic Pro. Now, imagine a future where you are expressing your vision for song production without relying on producers to interpret your ideas. You're saving thousands in studio costs by becoming the producer. You're investing your time and money on the right things by learning from the experience of seasoned professionals. Imagine that you're finally growing your fan base and affecting the Spotify algorithm by releasing multiple songs per month instead of per year. You're running with a strong community of like-minded artists for direct support, encouragement, and song feedback. You're affordably building a large song catalog that opens up additional streams of income through sync placements in TV, film, and commercials. A successful Nashville songwriter recently told me that out of every 100 songs that you create, one of those songs will actually make you money. So why is becoming your own producer so effective? Well, you're completely removing your production costs by doing it yourself instead of relying on expensive producers or an hourly studio rate. Now, don't get me wrong, paying a producer is totally fine if you just want to release a single here and there. But what if you want to produce 100 songs or more so you can actually start seeing that momentum in your music? Before I dive in, I want to share with you my story on how I became my own producer. I went from teaching high school in a job that I wasn't passionate about and better in producing on the side to landing my dream job as an audio engineer for a Grammy-winning music label. Now, I've always had a passion for music, but I never wanted to be a producer. I learned how to play guitar and started writing songs when I was 16, and I spent over a decade paying producers thousands for music that I wasn't proud of. I spent all this time lacking a community and feeling alone in my journey, and wasting all of my energy on coffee shop shows, YouTube covers, going all in on the next music video, but I wasn't getting any closer to my dreams. My lowest moment was when I went into debt to pay for the production and marketing of my first album after its crowdfunding campaign painfully failed. This was devastating, as you can imagine. I was overwhelmed by the crushing reality of not having the resources to make my songs heard. I even thought, I'll just settle for a career that I'm not passionate about and pursue music on the side. I just felt completely powerless and without direction. But then I found hope. After my first album was wrapped up, my producer pulled me aside and gave me his audio interface, and he told me something that would shift the course of my life forever. He said, "The best way to become a great artist is to become a great producer." So I made some changes and I decided to say yes to every free project. I decided to learn how to record my own high-quality vocals at home and pitch correct them myself. I developed a growth mindset, and I really wanted to just learn everything that I possibly could about production. I sought out mentors and part-time internships for one-on-one training because eventually I just got so tired of watching YouTube videos and not really knowing where to even begin. And I didn't know really what to focus on to get to where I wanted to be. I eventually joined an online community to learn from industry professionals who were already living my dreams. My thought was, well, if I want to do music full time and go all in, then I should just get around people who are doing that, right? Now, this was also huge. I stopped releasing average songs and I instead invested in myself for a season. I chose to grow in songwriting and production. I learned everything that I could from professionals. And as you can imagine, that led to accelerated growth. And then this happened. I left the comfort of my teacher salary to take a full-time unpaid internship at a music studio. I chose to go all in on my dreams with no plan B. I lived off savings while working on major projects by Maverick City Music, Bethel Music, Sean Foyt, and Kim Walker Smith. It was an incredible feeling to start getting this kind of experience and to get these credits to my name, but funds were tight and I felt tempted to go back to the safety of my old life. I was waiting for a door to open up. One day I received a phone call from a friend who told me to apply to this position, and I ended up being offered a full-time studio position at a Grammy-winning music label called Elevation Worship. It was a life-changing, incredible experience. You can see my name up there at the top right in the liner notes for the Can You Imagine album. I had the privilege of working on songs that are still being sung by millions all over the world. My original songs also started to get signed to major sync agencies, including Honestly Good Music, Crucial Music, and Atrium Music. I've mentored dozens of independent artists to become their own producers and gain the creative freedom to pursue their dreams. I'm on a mission to see every independent artist equipped with the skills and direction to make their songs heard. What took me years and multiple internships will take you only months. But throughout this journey, I learned that to be successful as an independent artist, you need these 3 things. 1, quality songs. 2, quality community. And 3, a large song catalog. Here's my 6-step process that is helping independent artists like you to become their own producers. Step 1 is setup and navigation. The first thing you want to do is set up an affordable home studio using my recommended gear list. Now, technology has advanced dramatically over the past 2 decades. You really just need a decent laptop, recording software, $500 vocal microphone, audio interface, mixing headphones, and a MIDI keyboard. Most songs that you hear on TV and film today have been recorded from the comfort of a producer's backyard home studio. Now, you might think that this is expensive, but it should only cost you around $1,000. And $1,000 for home studio gear is really nothing compared to what you'd spend on a commercial studio. That could cost you anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 or more. Here's some quick gear recommendations to give you an idea. So I recommend the Shure SM7DB vocal microphone. It's just $500. And then the SSL is a great option for your audio interface. This is far better than that $100 Scarlett interface that a lot of people tend to get when they first start out with production. You also want a decent pair of mixing headphones, and these Beyerdynamic DT770s are a really great option. There are, of course, more expensive options that you can check out, but this will get you started. Once your home studio is set up, you'll need to learn how to navigate your DAW. DAW is short for Digital Audio Workstation. I recommend Logic Pro if you have a Mac and prefer a more user-friendly experience, or you can go with Pro Tools if you have a PC or plan on working in a commercial studio. As you're learning to navigate your DAW, it's best to learn by creating. Learning this way will be more engaging and give you purpose in the process. You can start by producing a simple demo with MIDI piano, bass, and drums. Doing this will help you get familiar with the DAW while also having fun doing it. Here are some examples of what my clients do when they come into my mentorship program. Now, a lot of my new students are really surprised by how little gear they actually need to start producing. And you're watching this free training, so you're now aware of this, but I helped one of my students save over $1,500 through my gear recommendations. And as an example, we get all the plugins and software fully set up so that you're ready to hit the ground running. Then we get you ready for the next step, which is songwriting. This is where you'll finalize the songwriting for your original song. You want to receive constructive feedback on your lyrics and melody from other songwriters who are further along than you. The reason why I recommend this is, why spend time producing a good song when you could spend time producing a great song? Step 3 is song foundations. For this step, you're going to create the arrangement for your original song with piano, bass, and drums, but you're going to use virtual instruments or VSTs instead of live instruments. What's cool about VSTs is that they utilize MIDI, which gives you the flexibility to change the notes, tempo, and chords on the fly. So after you record that instrument, you can go in and literally move around exact notes within any chord. You're not required to play anything perfectly, and you can edit anything in post. Next, you're going to quantize your MIDI instruments. This means time aligning it or getting it to the metronome. And finally, you're going to record scratch vocals over this arrangement. A scratch vocal is just your main vocal that you sing from beginning to end in one go. That's going to show you exactly where you're at in your song while you build onto that track. And you're also going to go in and add those section markers like intro, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, just so you know exactly where you're at in your session while you're building that song foundation. Here are some examples of clients who have built that song foundation and arrangement. It's such an amazing feeling when you put together that first rough track with the scratch vocal, because you're really starting to see that progress and you're seeing your song come to life. Step 4 is production. Now that you have your song foundation and your arrangement, you're going to build onto this with interesting instrument and vocal layers. Up until this point, you've been only working in MIDI as well with your scratch vocal, but now you're going to record your live instruments like acoustic guitar or electric guitar. And one trick that I've learned is to record your guitars to MIDI drums and not to the metronome only. If you're brand new to recording, it's really easy to get lost when listening to the metronome. So that's why I recommend using those MIDI drums as a guide for your playing. Next, you're going to build onto your track with samples, percussion layers, string arrangements, and more. And then you're going to start getting a decent volume level balance for every track. This just means adjusting the faders in your session to make sure everything sounds properly balanced. Now we're getting into vocals. This is when you'll record final vocals to replace that scratch vocal. This includes things like chorus doubles, harmonies, vocal stacks, just really interesting layers that are going to help make your song sound full. You're going to pitch correct your main vocal using a powerful vocal editing software called Melodyne. Commercial studios and producers use this software all over the world. This is how you're going to get your vocals sounding in pitch, but also natural. For your background vocals, you will rely on autotune more than Melodyne. I recommend using Melodyne to spot tune difficult vocal parts, but then you're going to use autotune for the heavy lifting, right? Spot tuning just means zeroing in on that one specific phrase or part that's difficult and then tuning that by hand. This will save you hours and hours of time because your main vocal really is the number one priority to get that sounding great. But then for your background vocals, we're going to rely more on autotune. Here's some examples of clients of mine who added more instruments to their song, making it sound full and professional. This means laying down electric guitars, different instrument layers, adding vocal harmonies, and also playing around with microphone techniques. Step 5 is mixing. For this step, you're going to apply my 6 steps of mixing to take your song from demo quality to industry standard. These steps include volume balance, EQ, compression, spatial effects, creative effects, and volume automation. Spatial effects include things like reverb, delay, panning. Creative effects include things like saturation for your vocals or stranger techniques like reverse reverb. Volume automation is the final step of mixing. That's where you'll decide the exact volume level for specific sections for an instrument. Mixing is the step where you really start seeing your song come to life, and here's some examples of students who have been experiencing this for themselves. One of my students even took a song that he had recorded a while ago and he remixed it using what he learned from this course, and he said it sounded 100 times better afterwards. Step 6 is mastering. Mastering sounds like a mystery for many, but really all that means is you're bringing your song to commercial volume level. You're getting the song to sound great when it's played from any device, whether that's your iPhone, your car stereo, or your computer. After you master your song, you're going to bounce the stems and finalize it. Stems are specific tracks in your song that have been mixed. A great way to get a head start on your next song is to import the session data from the completed song or use a mixing template. Then you're going to repeat my 6-step process to produce your next song. Here are 2 of my clients who released their self-produced songs on Spotify, so huge accomplishment. They went from knowing nothing about production to releasing their first song on Spotify, and now they're on to the next one. It's like a whole world opens up for you, right? You have a new skill for life that you can use to produce and release as many songs as you want. Here's an overview of my 6-step process, and as you can see, it should take around 4 months to create your first song. And then after that, you're just going to repeat this 6-step process to produce more songs. And of course, this time frame varies. It really depends on how much time per week you have to pour into this. Some of my students have produced way more than one song. So what are your options? You can do this alone like me and spend lots of time and money trying to figure it out. Or you can skip those steps completely and work one-on-one with industry professionals to achieve results at an accelerated pace. Here are the producer mentors on my team that you'd have a chance to work with either one-on-one or on the group calls. Johnny Collier is a producer and composer for artists signed to the top sync agencies in the country, including Honestly Good Music and Resonate out of Nashville. He's an audio engineer for Elevation Church. Kayla Glaze is a producer, artist, multi-instrumentalist, and songwriter with sync placements in various TV shows and video games for Netflix, Amazon Prime, and more. And Graham King is an audio engineer for Elevation Worship. He's a versatile songwriter and producer for artists across various genres. So as you can see, I have an incredibly talented team of industry professionals with real-world experience who are ready to support you for the next 6 months. If you were to work with us, you'd get direct mentorship. This means access to my private school group for support, online community, and extensive video modules, troubleshooting, songwriting, and mix feedback anytime you need it. You'd get one-on-one mentorship calls with your mentor for more personalized support, fully one-on-one. This kind of direct support is completely unheard of. On top of the one-on-one support, you'll also get weekly group calls for direct support, mixed feedback, and connection with other artists in the community. When you jump on board, you'll get a one-on-one call with my team to help you get started. We're going to help you get your home studio fully set up with all the gear and plugins that you need, as well as troubleshooting along the way. I'll also be giving you my all-in-one mixing and production template in Logic Pro and Pro Tools. This one thing has been a game changer for people because it allows you to start your song with my exact plugins, routing, and effect buses. This will allow you to really hit the ground running and get started quickly. Angela went through the program as a full-time teacher with dozens of worship songs written and needing to be heard, and she went from knowing nothing about production to producing multiple songs in just 2 months. She then went on to launch her artist website and music ministry, and is now producing a song for her friend's wedding. When Michael first started the program, all he had was a few songs written with acoustic guitar and vocals. Now he's using his creative ability to produce his next single and build his social media following. Chad always had a dream of producing his own country songs after years of going into studios and seeing no real traction. He found new hope and creative freedom after finishing his first single that he self-produced and mixed. Now he's working on his next single and performing songs live with a new band while building his fan base. So what's my guarantee in all this? If you don't learn how to confidently produce a high-quality song in 6 months, I will extend your program until you do. There are, of course, qualifications to this, like working at least 3 hours per week and completing all your assigned work with maximum effort. If this sounds exciting to you, I'd love for you to apply. All you have to do is book a call by clicking the link below. Now, what's the worst case scenario if you book this call with my team? We'll identify your next steps as an independent artist, and if this program is not the perfect fit for you, that's totally fine. We'll just push you in the right direction. The best case is that we decide to work together and you learn how to produce your own high quality songs in 6 months or less. This is valued at around $2,000 to $4,000 per song. That's how much you'll pay a Nashville producer on average. You're going to gain this skill for life, and this of course carries with it unlimited potential. When you finish this program, you'll be able to produce as many songs as you want for the rest of your life. Go ahead and book a call with my team to get started, and we'll talk to you soon.